Every year, Muslims are told to hunt for a hidden night. Stay up late, pray as much as possible, and hope you have picked the right date among the last 10 nights of the month. If you find it, 1,000 months of reward are yours in a single sitting. The search makes sense on its own terms. If one night genuinely equals 83 years of worship, only a fool would not try. But before you set your alarm, there is a question worth asking. What exactly are you hunting for? The Earth is a sphere. It rotates. This means there is no moment when it is simultaneously night across the entire planet. If the night of Qadr is a physical shadow moving across the ground, then the divine decree is trapped inside that shadow, traveling west at 1,000 miles an hour. If you are still intellectually challenged enough in 2026 to think the Earth is flat, it's still not night throughout the world, even on a flat Earth map that the flat earthers don't have. But you do not even need the cosmology to see the problem. Look at what is happening right now. Ramadan itself does not start on the same day worldwide. Saudi Arabia and Indonesia regularly differ by a day on the sighting of the moon. This means that on the night, Muslims in one country are observing the 27th of Ramadan, a night with the highest stated probability of being Laylatul Qadr. Muslims in another country are still on the 26th, and in some places the 25th. If the most important night in the Islamic calendar cannot be agreed upon by the people who are actively looking for it in the same year, on the same planet, the problem is not a failure of observation. The problem is that a universal decree was never attached to a local moon sighting in the first place. The Arabic root qaaf-daal-raa means to measure. It is the root you use when you weigh something, when you set a standard, when you establish the exact value of a thing. It is not the root of mystery or magic. When the Quran uses this word to describe what was delivered during that period, it is describing the arrival of a metric, a legal and moral standard by which human conduct can be weighed. That is not a poetic reading. That is the dictionary. The word the Quran uses for the delivery of this standard is Anzala, not Nazzala. This distinction matters. Nazzala describes gradual communication over time, which is how the Quran was delivered across 23 years. Anzala describes the delivery of something complete, a finished system made available as a whole. The Quran uses the same word for the sending down of iron and the sending down of cattle. Nobody thinks iron fell from the sky on a specific night. It means a system was made available. A resource was established. The same logic applies here. The 1,000 months is not complicated if you do the arithmetic honestly. 1,000 months is 83 years and 4 months. That is a human lifetime. The text is making a direct comparison. One functioning standard of measurement delivers more value to human life than 83 years of existence without one. It is not a prayer multiplier. It is a statement about the comparative worth of having a coherent system of justice versus not having one. One generation that lives by an accurate standard accomplishes more than 1,000 generations navigating by guesswork. The Itikaf argument is the most straightforward of all. If the Qadr is a scale for measuring conduct between people, you cannot engage with it alone in a building. A scale requires something to weigh. Withdrawing from society for 10 days to honor a standard of human conduct is the same as locking a ruler in a drawer to celebrate measurement. The contradiction is not theological, it is logical. The practice defeats its own stated purpose. Does it make sense that a messenger would forget the date of this event? Traditional stories say the prophet saw two men arguing and the date was taken from his mind. Use your logic. A messenger is hired to deliver a message with 100% accuracy. If he forgets the most important date of the message, the communication process has failed. The literal reality is that he did not forget a date because there was no recurring calendar date to remember. The event was a historical delivery of a law code. You do not celebrate the anniversary of a scale. You use the scale. The forgetting story exists because people were trying to explain why no one could agree on a date. And the answer is that there was no date because the question itself was the wrong one. The Earth does not stop rotating. Ramadan does not start on the same night in every country and never has. Anzala does not mean what Nazzala means. 83 years is a human lifetime. A scale cannot be used in isolation. The standard was delivered once, historically, and it is still here. You do not find it by staying up on the 27th night. You find it by using it.
If you found this video informative, subscribe for more weekly videos like this. Thank you for watching.